But no, he was good. He was good. He was out there the whole game. So I totally think Victor Wembanyama is going to play in Game 4. And now Game 4 looks a whole lot more daunting since the Blazers couldn't get over the hump today without one of the best players on the planet on the court. Looked good in the first half. They were doing what they needed to do. And then the end of the third quarter into the fourth, a massive run from San Antonio did the Blazers in. Now, before we get into the box scores and all that stuff, let's remind you of a couple things. First off, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. 88528 is the text line. And, of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. That's the business side. Also got to say, it felt very, very good to be in that building tonight. 20,000 people, standing room only. Let's go Blazer chants before the ball even tipped. The vibes felt really, really good. That's why I love playoff basketball. What I don't love is taking the tough loss like that. Portland had it right there for the taking. Couldn't get it done. How did this game pan out? Let's take a look. It's time for a Rip City recap. Well, as Jake says in the YouTube chat, disappointing loss tonight, and you are absolutely correct. It was disappointing because the Blazers had a chance to take control of the series with Victor Wembanyama out. You've got to take advantage of that. We talked about it in the previous two games going in. What was the key? Win the minutes that Victor Wembanyama isn't on the floor. Well, you had 48 minutes of that tonight, and you couldn't win those minutes. Portland did outscore the Spurs 29-27 in the first quarter, 36-32 in the second. But then wheels fell off. They got outscored in the third and the fourth. A massive turnaround for San Antonio. And the final score, 120-108. Points in the paint, 44-42 in favor of the Blazers. Second chance points, 22-12 in favor of San Antonio. Fast break points, 18-15 in favor of the Blazers. Turnovers, Portland had just 11 of them, so did a good job there. Points off turnovers, they had 23 to the Spurs 17. So a couple things there, you look pretty even, but then you start looking at the box score, and this was not a very good offensive game from the Blazers. 37 of 90, they shot 41%. Meanwhile, San Antonio, 41 of 87, including 16 of 33 from beyond the arc, good for 48%. They were 22 of 28 from the free throw line. Portland was 20 of 29. So when you make 37 shots in the game, you shoot 41%, that's a rough one to bounce back from. And again, people are saying, yeah, it's a disappointing loss. I absolutely think it is a disappointing loss. And you got to give so much credit to this San Antonio team, because this is not as if Portland just, oh, yeah, they had it right there, they let it go, because San Antonio is great. Game one, Denny looked good, but still they have found ways to bottle him up. He's absolutely struggled. Drew Holiday got it going today, but they're still struggling to get Donovan Clingan going. Tumani Kamara didn't look good offensively, and that is not a good sign for you in the long run. Quite frankly, as much as I love him, as much as I defended him on this show, Donovan Clingan's getting cooked every single night right now. Like, Luke Cornett looks phenomenal. I don't know why. Get out there, play big, get rebounds. Instead, Luke Cornett's looking like Robert Williams half the time, playing above the rim, getting dunks, getting rebounds, and Robert Williams has outplayed Donovan Clingan through 3 games right now. It's pretty weird. Pretty bad. Taking a look at the individual box scores, Devin Vassell had 11 points, 9 points from Julian Champagny, 14 points and 10 rebounds from Luke Cornett. De'Aaron Fox, 18 points, 6 assists, 27 points off of the bench for Dylan Harper. And Stephon Castle looked like the best player on the floor tonight. 33 points. He was 10 of 11 from the free throw stripe, 10 of 18 from the floor. Very in control, very, very quick on the floor. He looked phenomenal. Massive credit to him. And then you have Carter Bryant. Now, Carter Bryant, you look at the box score and say he only had 3 points. He had 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Defensively, he was a force. There was a couple times, too, he set picks. He set one on Scoot Henderson, and Scoot Henderson ran into him full speed because he didn't see the pick. And I kid you not, Carter Bryant did not budge. Like, it didn't even faze him that Scoot ran into him. That guy, that's a good young player right there. Taking a look at the Blazers side of things, Denny Avdia, 19 points on a very rough 3 of 15 shooting. Tumani Kamara, 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting. Donovan Clingan, 7 points on 2 of 6. Drew Holiday came to play, though. He was 12 of 18 from the floor for a team-high 29 points. Scoot Henderson, 21 points, including 8 in the first quarter. He was 8 of 18 from the field. Robert Williams off the bench, 11 points, 13 points from Jeremy Grant. Shaden Sharp, in just 13 minutes, only had 4 points. So that's basically the way that one played out. No one else played a ton. Matisse Thybulle played 6 minutes. But you got to figure this one out if you're the Blazers. Like, you have to have Tumani Kamara on the court because he's been so good defensively. But offensively, he has not been good in this series. It has not been a very fun one for him on the offensive side of the ball. And Donovan Clingan has continued to be outplayed by Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett's, and that, again, do you fault Donovan Clingan, or do you praise Luke Cornett? As Grandpa Simpson would say, little from column A, little from column B. But I talked about this earlier. Like if you're going to be put in these situations, you got to step up. You got to answer the call. These are the type of games, especially tonight. No Wembanyama. Let's go, baby. DC have a game. But he got into early foul trouble, struggled with the small lineups that San Antonio was putting out there. The Blazers had to adjust. I mean, there's a bunch of different variables. I would just like to see him have an absolute monster game. 21 assists on those 37 shots for the Blazers, 27 assists for the San Antonio Spurs, who also out-rebounded the Blazers 50-45. Final score 120-108 in favor of San Antonio. That is the skinny of what happened. One of the texters, whoever invited LaMarcus, the Jinx deserves to be tarred and feathered. I thought it was actually cool to have LaMarcus there, but also if you're going to have a former Blazer in there, you can't have the one who played for the other team you're playing in the playoffs. I mean, you had him at practice the other day. Are we sure he wasn't a mole? He wasn't feeding some info back to San Antonio? He cannot be trusted. He cannot be trusted at all. You got to watch that. It was kind of cool to just hear Mark Mason, though. The L train. That's always a cool one. That's always a cool one. But, yeah, this was a perfect opportunity to steal Game 3, as you say there, and they didn't take it. And that's the part that sucks about this one. Now you can still win Game 4, and you still make a series. Splitting this thing it still puts you in a really good spot. But splitting the series becomes a whole lot harder when it does look like Victor Wembanyama is probably going to be on the floor on Sunday morning. That's a whole different task and a whole different animal. San Antonio, like I said, has to get credit, though. That is such a good team, and they find the ways to win. Castle was great. Vassell was great. Julian Champagny hit shots when they need to. Like, that's why they're the second-best team in the Western Conference. They got there for a reason. You just hope they could find ways to maybe not do that against the Blazers. The Blazers still, you're a playoff team too. You got to stick it to them. Got to stick it to them. You can't let them outscore you like that in the second half on your home turf. Got to take advantage. All right, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about this game. We're going to hit you with a drive of the night, scoreboard report. We'll hear from Coach in a little bit as well. All that and more here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. For those of you not initiated in the way of Wayne Static and the wonderful was like industrial metal band of the 2000s, Static X, right here. Cold, we're so cold, right? Cold, we're so cold. We are so cold, we're so cold. That was the Blazers shooting. Cold, they're so cold. Couldn't hit a barn, as Sue said in the YouTube chat. Couldn't hit the side of a barn. Couldn't hit an ocean standing on the beach. I said the first half was great. Second half, wheels fell off. Sometimes it's just what happens. The frustrating part about the loss is you have all the pageantry, all of the atmosphere, all of the hype, 20,000 strong, and I feel like you let one slip away because the vibe should still be strong on Sunday. But when you see Victor Wembanyama suit up and stand across from Donovan Clingan to toss the ball up, it's a little bit different of a feeling. It's going to be a tough game. And as I said, the start of the game was great. There was some highlight plays, including a lob to Rob for our drive of the night.
It's time for the fifth quarter Trailblazers Drive of the Night, presented by McCord's Vancouver Toyota, where they live by the slogan, "We make it easy." Check out their inventory now at vancouvertoyota.com.
It helps if I turn the audio on.
Denny is bumped, drives, lob to Williams, two-in smash with authority. Denny with the lob. Time stopped for Williams, who dunked it in. 11-6 Blazers.
Now, as that play happened, that was one of those plays where I sat there and I elbowed Sean Hyken on my left and I elbowed Danny Morang on my right because I was like the Joe Rogan gif, right, where he pushing people back because it was such a wonderful play. But that entire first quarter, they're trying to get the offense going. But the fact that the Spurs just kept hanging on, you're like, okay, they're going to go through one. And then you get the late lead. It's 82-67, and you think, okay, things are looking good. And then it flips. The entire script gets flipped upside down, Inception style. You don't even know what you're looking at. And the Spurs took over, and the Blazers just couldn't have an answer for it. So it's going to put a lot on what happens on Sunday, how the Blazers are able to answer this and continue to play this chess match that we always talk about, because they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to find an answer. You look at Game 2. Yes, they won Game 2 without Victor Wembanyama, who played just 12 minutes in that game, but they won that game by 3 points. So still, the minutes where Victor Wembanyama is not on the floor, the Blazers are not winning a lot of those. Clearly. So what happens when he returns? Going to be rough. I will say the part about this that doesn't make me as upset is, as the saying goes, we're kind of playing with house money, because how many people predicted this team was going to be a playoff team? The answer is few. Very, very few. But here we are, getting to host one. That's wonderful. I just hope they split. Give us a game 6. I do not want Spurs in 5. I don't want Sunday to be the last home game here at Moda. And shout out to I don't know if I can say that name, but Pass the J. I hate to complain about the refs, Sue, but ... The refs were interesting. They were interesting. Even my buddy Chris, who was there tonight, who is not a basketball fan, which shocked me that he was there. Just shows you how lit it was and how hyped people were for Blazer Mania, right? When even the non-basketball guys are in the building. He was like, officiating night, little suspect. Like, yeah, you think? But officiating throughout the playoffs has been what it is. And I mean, we could go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Officials did not miss shots like the Blazers did. They did not let San Antonio go on a run. Those are things that happen with or without that. You got to figure it out. Sue says they played like it's the middle of February. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a frustrating part, and I don't know how you change that one because I felt like Scoot was great and had great energy. I felt like nobody else did. Even the guys who played well, like Drew Holiday didn't have a ton, but that's not his thing. Like he's not the super rah-rah guy, but Denny is feeling out of sorts. Clingan was definitely off tonight, and you go down the list. Tumani was bringing it defensively. He was forcing lots of fouls on San Antonio and turnovers there, which was great, but offensively was just non-existent. But you gotta come hyped up on Sunday. Not like overly hyped, like you're crazy and you're going to make mistakes, but you got to understand what's in front of you and understand that your season is very well on the line. I mean, it is on the line. I know it's not lose and go home on Sunday, but if you lose on Sunday, 3-1, odds are against you. Absolutely. Heading back to San Antonio. So you got to take care of business, watch film, rewrite the thing, and see where you're at. Blazers weren't the only game that went down tonight, though. Had some other games with some playoff implications because it's playoff time. Every game has playoff implications. Who else took the court? What was the result? Let's find out. It's time for a scoreboard report.
This NBA Scoreboard Report is brought to you by McCord's Vancouver Toyota, where they live by the slogan, "We make it easy." Check out their inventory now at vancouvertoyota.com.
All right, let's take a look around the association tonight, see what else happened. Obviously, we know what happened here in Trailblazer land, but there was a couple other games that we can look at and see what went down. First off, in Philadelphia, the Celtics re-grabbed the series lead 2-1 with a 108-100 victory over the 76ers. Jason Tatum had 25 points, 7 assists. Tyrese Maxey, 31 points and 6 assists. And in Houston, they had to go to overtime, even though the Rockets did not have Kevin Durant, but the Lakers eke out a close one, 112-108 over the Rockets to grab a commanding 3-0 series lead. LeBron James, 29 points, 13 boards, and 6 assists. Alfred Şengün, 33 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists. And then, of course, final score in Portland, San Antonio, 120. Your Trailblazers, 108. And then for those of you looking for some action to watch tomorrow at 10 a.m., you will have Pistons taking on the Magic. At 12:30, you will have Thunder in Phoenix taking on the Suns. 3 o'clock, New York looking to not go down 3-1 to the Hawks in Atlanta. And the final game tomorrow night, 5:30 tip-off on ABC. Denver also looking not to fall to 3-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This NBA Scoreboard Report brought to you by our friends at McCord's Vancouver Toyota, where they live by the slogan, "We make it easy." Check out the inventory now at toyotavancouver.com. We're going to take a quick break here on the 5th quarter. When we come back, we're going to hear from head coach Thiago Splitter. We're going to find a defensive player of the night. Hint, he was wearing one of the black jerseys tonight. And, of course, we'll hand out a game ball. All that and more coming up here on your home of the Blazers, Rib City Radio, 620. Welcome back in to the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on the text line, 88528, or of course go to youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio, where Sue just made me laugh. Joking, of course. She's like, are they ever going to fix that I on the Rip City sign? And it took me a second. I'm like, oh, yeah, the one that's missing because people are supposed to stand in it. Well played, Sue. You made me laugh. And then, another one of our guys, he's a passer. He says, I'm loving Scoot these days. Yeah, he's been real good. Yeah, Drew looked really good tonight, but Scoot was solid. I think he's probably been the best Blazer overall this series, showing up, and you got to love it, got to respect it. Big shout-out to Scoot Henderson. He's not shying on the stage in these lights, and I absolutely love that for him. Now, let my voice take a quick little break. It is time to head to the Coach's Corner. Now, before I get to that, I just have to laugh. It says one of our the chats here, Jeremy Grant should be joining Caleb Love and Young Hansen at the end of the bench for the rest of this series. Well, Caleb Love's not on the end of the bench because he's not on the roster right now. But I get what you're saying. Jeremy Grant has not looked good at all. I was surprised that he was the first one off the bench and they didn't play Shea too much, but Shea also looked out of sorts. Says, man, if I got 5 guys who want to go, I'm just going to play in 48 minutes. Send a message. You don't got to rotate just to rotate. I think I would like to see, at this point, honestly, I would like to see Vit Krejci get a few minutes. Just put someone out here who can shoot. They had a couple lineups out there today where just the offense got so stagnant because there was no true offensive players. It was just like, hey, we're going to go defense, and you got to do something, man. But Jeremy Grant has absolutely struggled. He's not used to playing this late in the season, as some people have pointed out. It's been a minute. Absolutely been a minute. But he came back from, what was it, the calf strain or whatnot, and maybe he's rusty. I don't know, but to the point that he's not looked good, that's pretty accurate. All right, now I'm done. Now we will hear from head coach Tiago Splitter.
It's a good team in the second half. They play better. I made shots. I think Castle were unbelievable. Play a very good game. Getting to the line, shooting threes, being physical on defense, rebounding, pushing DC around. All of them. They were more physical than us. And rebounding 50-50 balls. That was the game. And they shot better.
Tiago, what about their small lineup gave you guys so much trouble? I know you mentioned the physicality, but when they took Cornette out, they really went on that run. What gave you trouble there?
Well, I think, they were driving and kicking. Made shots, honestly. We tried to get to the rim. We were not efficient. Not our best night. We're going to go there, watch film again. What can we do better? How can we get our tendencies and our organization better? And we go from there.
Tiago, during the fourth quarter when the Spurs were going on a run, did you consider calling a timeout just in essence to kind of try and stop the bleeding there?
Yeah, I called timeout, but then I have 2-1 left for the whole quarter. At the end of the day, you try to, think about call timeouts, bring different guys, trying to see if there's some kind of flair there, but we couldn't find it. We need to get stops and runs, and we couldn't get any stop. They were just hitting, driving, kicking out, shooting. We couldn't rebound a couple possessions. They have like 3-4 rebounds in a row, like little tips, and end up with an open three. So, again, we're going to go there, watch, and learn from it.
Do you feel like this is a missed opportunity playing with them without Victor in this game?
Well, always when you lose a game, it's a missed opportunity. We were up whatever we were, lost. But again, this is a very good team. They're going to put runs, just like what we did over there in San Antonio. We're going to do runs sometimes. Or their night, and Sunday's going to be different.
You heard it right there. Always when you lose a game, it was a missed opportunity, and he's absolutely correct. But also, definitely a missed opportunity to not win a game when Victor Wembanyama's not on the floor. He's their best player, one of the best players in the league. You got to take advantage of it. And that's where the rest of this series becomes very, very tricky, because we've said it since game one that a key to this series is winning the minutes Victor Wembanyama is not on the floor. Well, he didn't play tonight, and you lost those minutes. And quite frankly, he didn't look completely super good in the minutes he wasn't playing in game two either. Got the W, but let's not forget that it was pretty close to being a loss too. You have not taken full advantage of those times that he's out. So when he comes in, which is very likely to be again on Sunday, going to be rough. Now, we do got a couple more things to do before we get out of here. We're hitting up on the clock's about to hit midnight, man. I feel like Cinderella. I got to get out of here. But we got to hand out one of our game awards. It's time for our defensive player of the game.
Player of the game.
Blocked by Grant, picked up by Holiday.
First Response is the Northwest's only complete security solution in a category of one, because everybody else falls short. Check out fr-inc.com or call 503-207-5300.
Defensive player of the game for me is not on the Blazers side of the ball. If the Blazers defensive player was awarded, it'd be Toumani Camara. He's very good in that first half. But I thought Carter Bryant was exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. He was everywhere. He was flying. He was getting blocked shots, impacting shots. He led the Spurs with 3 blocked shots, in fact. He was just a force on that end. And for such a young player coming in playing like that in the playoffs, got to give him credit. Absolutely have to give him credit. I think he was a big reason the Spurs were able to turn around and go on that run. Like I said, if I was given one to a Blazer player, it'd probably be Toumani, especially with the way he was able to force some charges and some Spurs offensive fouls. Just being a pest, man. I love what he does on that end. Got to get the offense to match it and go with it. Now, can I look at the Blazers, though, and hand out a game ball to them, or do I got to give the game ball to a Spur? Let's find out. It's time for a game ball.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter, live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, choose chill.
What if I told you neither? The game ball is actually going to go to 20,000 different people. Being in that stadium tonight with a sellout, standing room only, 20,000 Rip City faithful, it just felt good. It felt good to be back in a playoff atmosphere. Moda was ready for the moment. Obviously, the result wasn't what they wanted, but it felt good. It absolutely felt good. And, people left tonight disappointed, and also that's a good thing, because that means there was expectation. Expectation means you're not a bad team. You're not tanking. You hope that things can turn around. You could go get wins. You could continue to shock the world. If you didn't have expectation, there would be no disappointment, right? But I'm absolutely handing the game ball out to the 20,000 plus who showed up inside Moda tonight and made that one hell of an environment. Also, massive shout out to the production team. I thought the pregame intro was pretty cool with the Smells Like Teen Spirit version that they played, a little more laid back, but it was really cool with how it matched with the video. Production team's wonderful for doing that. And yeah, it was just good to be in the playoff atmosphere. Now you have a day to go watch film, see what you need to do, and then you get back to it on Sunday. The crazy part is it's not going to be a normal game for these guys. They're not going to show up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get a shoot around in. No, it's going to be kind of a modified game day. Tip-off is at 12:30. That's completely not what they're used to, and you get to do that in a playoff game, and we'll see how both teams adjust to that. We'll see if Victor Wembanyama plays, because that's going to obviously impact the game. But if you're the Blazers, I got to say this. Just go back to basics. Understand that, don't play with pressure, and understand that, like I said, you're kind of playing with house money. So many people didn't expect you to be a playoff team, but here you are. Just go out and play loose and free. I think that's what Scoot's been doing a little bit, and that's why he's been playing so well. Everyone else do that. Don't be so tight. I feel like this team's playing tight right now. Like Denny is acting like he's never seen defenses. And shout out to the Spurs. What they're doing is they're daring the Blazers to beat them with that outside shot, and the Blazers aren't doing it. Because when Denny goes one-on-one on his guy and he gets around him, they are collapsing into the paint. And next thing you know, he has 3 guys at the rim meeting him, and he's struggling with it. And when he does that and doesn't take the shot, he kicks the ball out, and shots are being missed. Got to adjust that. All right, music means it's time to go. We're up against the clock. Like I said, tip-off on Sunday will be at 12:30, which means I will have Blazers game day for you, well-rested, of course, at 10:30. Might stop at the local coffee shop, get a little caffeine kick, wake up, have a nice breakfast, and be ready to go. That's what the Blazers need to do as well. Thank you to everyone for tuning in once again. Final score at Moda Center, the Spurs 120, the Trailblazers 104. Game 4, Sunday afternoon. I'll have game day for you Sunday morning starting at 10:30. Until next time, Rip City, I'll talk to you on that next one.